going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Horror Movie Review with Daniel Richardson. And yes, today we're going to go sleazy yet again. We went sleazy about a month ago when we did the nun-exploitation film, Love Letters from a Portuguese Nun. And we're going to go ahead and hit the other side of that now. We're going to be doing a women in prison film. We're talking about 1977's Wanda, the Wicked Warden. But before we get on to that, let's go ahead. You know how we do things here. Let's talk about a little bit of horror movie news. Well, they just finished up, or it's been finished. They just put this trailer out there for it. Season 2 of The Twilight Zone. I have not yet seen Season 1, but I heard good things. I'm not doing the CBS All Access. I'm sorry. Which, I think Twilight Zone is now on DVD, so I can check it out at some point. I'm just sick. I brought it up for Twilight Zone Season 2, and it's great. The biggest thing on there was they went through some of the episodes have been named yet, some of them are still untitled, but they went through the actors, directors, and writers. And Moore and Benson, Aaron Moore, or maybe it's Aaron Benson. I know the last two names are Moore and Benson. They did the Endless and Spring. These are two filmmakers that definitely they're on the rise. I think everybody needs to check out their work. They do an episode with Joe McHale starring in it, so I'm like, well, that's pretty freaking sweet right there. But that's that. Let me just go on a side rant here. There's just way too many streaming services, and that's the whole thing. Like we were, the ones that were smart enough to cut cable right off the bat and just go straight to just your Netflix or your Hulu. It was great. We kind of felt a little superior to the ones who aren't doing that. But now it's like they're trying to figure out a way to. So everybody has their own streaming services now. NBC is doing the Peacock coming out. Disney Plus just came out. That Quibi. I haven't seen commercials. I haven't heard anybody really say that out loud yet. Hasn't caught any steam, so I've only been seeing it in print. Anyways, the one I talked about Q, it's out there. It's just oh my god, what's gonna happen eventually is there will be no more cable, but then you're gonna have a shit ton of streaming services. And if you want to watch everything, you gotta pay all these different fees. It's gonna be ridiculous. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna start merging together. And then the price will go up. It's going to be like having cable again. It's going to be like having cable again. So, I don't know. Anyways, Twilight Zone Season 2 coming out. Good thing about that was, I thought they were still in the production stage, but apparently they wrapped a big portion of that, if not all of it. So, we're getting it. So, there it is. So, during this quarantine era that we are living in, they were talking about the house that was in the movie The Conjuring. Or at least, the house that, the movie is based off of. And I honestly forget the name of the house. I don't know. I know that's, as far as, paranormal activity and ghost hunting and, all that kind of, stuff, this house is a biggie, but I don't know. If it's not Amityville, or Winchester, those are, the two big houses in my mind, as far as, mainstream haunted houses. So I forget the name of this house. Perron? Was that it? Perron? I didn't write it down. I just wrote The House Live, Conjuring movie. Anyways, sorry, I digressed. They decided to go ahead, and so the house was put up for sale because it's haunted. People refuse to live there. The woman who was in the Conjuring movie, who was married and had 5 kids, she has since gone on and wrote books about horror deal, and she's doing pretty good for herself. But these people gave up the house, and so a new family moves in, and this family is into ghost hunting. That's their whole thing. They're just yeah, we're ghost hunters, we'll buy the house. So they move in, and so they decide they're going to do a live stream for an entire week, 24/7. It was on the Dread Zone. I guess this is a website that's dedicated to this kind of ghost hunting, paranormal research type stuff. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Dread Zone. If you guys know what it is, drop the comment down below, because I will be honest with you, I have no idea. But anyways, so this family decides they're going to set up cameras. And for one full week, they're going to show you their stuff. And it's just weird because, yes, the family moved in there. They're using the whole, we're forced to be in the house because it's quarantine. And it's well, you're not, at all. You guys go to a motel. That's social distance enough. You're fine, I promise you. You can leave if you want to. No. they're setting up cameras to do a show because they're having special guests show up every day of the week. Like, they got, I guess, people from the show Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International and all the little fucking CSI spinoffs or whatever the show had. They had the woman that was in The Conjuring. I want to say there's not the actual actress, but the woman it's based off of, sorry. She's coming back. The house terrified her, she moved away, but she's showing up for a cameo appearance here. I don't know. There's other people. I mean, they did a whole list. I mean, there's no one I knew. But I guess like renowned psychics and other paranormal researchers are going to be showing up. But you see the trailer, and they're showing you footage, live footage apparently of like, you know, at one point, like there's a book in the shelf, on this bookshelf, and it just gets popped out. And I'm like, you know, I'm pretty skeptical as it is anyways. Like, I'd have to honestly, it'd have to be like me in my house knowing that I have nothing rigged up. And for this tree just to fly across and hit the corner, I'd be like, all right, I believe in ghosts now. I haven't seen that. It's never anything like that. So if there are ghosts in this house, I guess they just do random small stuff that they don't do it around me and I don't realize they're doing it. I don't know. But everything they show on there could easily be done by special effects. Like, even though the camera looks crappy and it's just like a webcam, it's like, that doesn't mean there can't be a little thing behind that book that pushes it out. I mean, it's still all edited together for this trailer, so it's like, you're not proving anything here. Like, at one point they're doing an interview, and like it's a daughter, and she's freaking out, and during the interview, you hear something rattle off screen, and she freaks out. I'm like, but aren't you a part of this family, and you moved here? Like, I just see, I don't know. Anyways, if you want to watch this, guess what? For $15 or $13.99 or $4, I don't know, it was something like that. It's around $15. You could pay the money and watch the 24/7 live stream for a whole week. Wow. Tell me that's not a scam. Tell me that's not a scam. I don't give a shit. It's retarded. Anyways, or ridiculous, sorry. Daniel's tired. I'm not going to lie. Even though it's kind of light outside, I was up really late the night before doing editing, and now I'm just kind of like ready to go to sleep. I forgot, oh shit, I got to record this, you know, next episode here, and I totally forgot, so I apologize. Anyway, so yeah, if you're into that, the show is called The House Live, and it's live from the Conjuring house, and then, you know, it's on the Dread Network, or Dread Zone, or whatever. So there's an interview. They did a podcast recently, and I forget who it was. Somebody did a podcast with Neve Campbell. And Neve Campbell, of course, the question, you know, inevitably came to, will she ever come back to the Scream series, the franchise? Because rumors about Scream 5 has been kind of circulating for a while now. And she always pretty much stood strong on it, that she thought the fourth one should be the last one, because now that Wes Craven's passed away, you know, no need to really rehash it or, you know, bring it back up. But she said she met the writer and director of this, and the producer. And I guess they're kind of in negotiations right now. And she said that, you know, after reading the script, reading what they're planning on doing, she can see that these two guys have a lot of respect for the source material. And I guess are going to move forward with, you know, pretty decent story. But it's from the team that did Truth or Dare. And I'll be honest with you, that just doesn't set right with me. Like, at all. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I love the first Scream movie. First Scream movie is revolutionary. It was brilliant. You know, still holds up today. Like, even though it's like dial-up internet and cell phones like this big, it still works, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a timeless quality to it. The sequels, not so much. Now, I still like 2 and 3. I don't revisit them nearly as often as I would the first one. And I personally just wasn't big on 4. I know people like it. It was, you know, popular, but I didn't care for it. So, like, I could care less to do 5. I mean, I'd rather them just leave the whole thing alone. Don't worry about a sequel or a reboot or anything like that. Just move forward with it. But anyways, you know, she said she'd be willing to come back, so there you go. I'd be interested to see if, you know, the others come back. I think the Denver Arquette would come back. I don't see Courtney Cox coming back. And that's my biggest complaint about Part 4 was, you know, the first 3 movies, Arquette and Cox were dating/married. Like, I think they were married by the time Part 2 rolls around or whatever. So there's a lot of chemistry there. They were in love. And then their divorce happens, you know, between 3 and 4. But in 4, they're still portrayed as being married. Now, granted, they are having marital trouble. And I really wish that either one of them would have got killed, or they would have just been like, let's call it what it is and let's split, because there was no chemistry. Getting them on, I mean, you can just tell by watching it. It was just like, God, That's horrible. So I don't know. I would much rather see them either split if they're going to both come back, or kill one of them off. Like that was what was so great about part 2. They killed Randy off, and it was just like so like holy shit, he was one of the main guys. And so when 3 rolls around, you're thinking, well, anybody can die this time. And I mean, I guess they do kill Cotton Weary, but come on, it wasn't like he was a main character. He was a supporting guy in the first one, so it's like, come on, he wasn't even a supporting guy. He was a bit player in the first one. He was just a plot device in the first one. So anyways, I don't know. When 3 rolls around and like no one bites it, I was like, all right, fine, we'll get a happy ending. It is the conclusion, because at that time I really did figure that part 3 was going to be the end of it. Then 4 comes out and everybody fucking survives, and I'm like, really? Like, I feel like at this point, you could tell Courtney Cox didn't really want to be there. David Arquette didn't look like he was happy. I'm not saying he didn't want to be there. He just didn't look happy. And that may have been the fact that he's there with his ex-wife. And I'm just like, you mean you couldn't kill off one of these fuckers? Like, one of them? I don't know. So, I don't know. 5, I can really care less. I never did watch the Scream TV series either, so I'm not sure if it was any good or not, but didn't watch it. And then they start dropping pictures for the upcoming Terrifier 2. Terrifier hit hard, man. Like, this movie came out of nowhere and just blew the fuck up. Like, literally, Art the Clown is, like, iconic, and he's only been out for a couple years or whatever. I have yet to see Terrifier. I've heard nothing but great things, and I have access to watch it now. I think it's on Shudder. I have Shudder now, and I just have not had a chance. I've literally only used Shudder for Joe Ball. I'm sorry, I'm a huge fan. I've watched a handful of other things, but I mean, for the most part, I'm watching Monster Vision. Or, sorry, The Last Drive-In. It's still Monster Vision to me, but... anyway, so, yeah, Terrifier 2 coming out soon. So, there you go. And finally, I want to talk about a trailer that dropped, and not really horror. This is definitely more just balls-to-wall action thriller, but it just such a refreshing look. So, there's an actor I'm not huge on. You may know him as the King of Queens. He's Kevin James. I don't know. I just don't get his appeal. Like, I just feel like the overweight dude, comedic guy, like, it died out with Chris Farley. And before him, John Candy. And before him, Belushi. I mean, that's it. That's your core 3. I don't need any more after that. And Kevin James, I don't get his humor. I don't think he's funny. And the only thing I never really, I don't know. Like, the things I've seen him in that I could kind of tolerate, what was the Zookeeper? And it wasn't because of him. It was literally because they were just talking animals. And even that kind of wore itself thin, because it's just like, fuck, this is just Adam Sandler's crew doing it with fucking animals. So, goddamn. So, I don't know. I was not a fan of the other movies he's done. Everybody talks about Here Comes the Boom, which I just didn't watch. It may be good, but anyways, he's got a new movie coming out called Becky. And in Becky, we mentioned him earlier, Joe McHale. Joe McHale has his daughter, and of course he's remarried to this other woman who also has a kid. I think it's a son. Anyways, they're going to spend the weekend together in a cabin or some shit. And anyways, it's kind of a Brady Bunch type situation. But, the young girl, Becky's not having any of it. However, during all this, there is a prison escape by Kevin James, who's playing a neo-Nazi. I always kind of fault a lot of the Sandler crew for being very one-dimensional. They rarely step outside their box and try different things. They play the same jackass characters at the same time together and keep cranking out really horrible movies. So I was just like, fuck Kevin James. And then I saw this trailer like, holy shit, like, I was not expecting this. And him and his crew end up, it turns into like a home invasion, and of course they end up taking over the family, but the only one who's not there is Becky. And I just like saying the word Becky. And Becky is, she's seeing all this go down, and so she kind of goes home alone. She goes all Kevin McAllister and starts setting up like traps in the woods and in the treehouse and around the house, and starts taking them out one by one. And this is getting the R rating. The trailer is brutal. This isn't the cutesy shit. This isn't going to be villains like, I'm going to get your kid, and they trip and wackily fall down, and you hear a banana peel whoop as they go down. No, none of that. It's like people are getting killed. She stabs a motherfucker in the neck with like an arrow. How awesome is that? Like, that's what I would love to see. They kind of did a little bit with Turbo Kid, and there's another movie that came out that was kind of similar, where it was like they took a kid premise that you've seen a million times, and then gave it the hard R. Introduced a lot of ultra violence, bad language, a little bit of nudity. Not from the kids, so relax before you say anything. But literally, and I mean, I remember as a kid, that was the one thing. Like, I grew up on all the kid classics, Sandlot, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, whatever. But there's always that, even as a kid, I was like, man, this is talking down to me. Because I'd also watch classics like Commando, The Predator, Rambo. And it's like, I'm watching bad, Kickboxer, Bloodsport, Under Siege, badass action movies. And then you watch a movie where it's a kid who's thrust into the role of being like a superhero. And it's like, did the villains just get dumb as shit? Like, these are the dumbest villains. Like, I would love to see The Three Ninjas, which is, I know it's not a huge classic. No one likes Three Ninjas with this guy, but I love The Three Ninjas. But I would love to see, like, Three Ninjas actually go toe-to-toe with, like, a Schwarzenegger villain. And, like an R-rated sword. We don't count Last Action Hero, which is still a great movie, but, it's PG-13. But I want to see, like, fucking True Lies go up against Three Ninjas. Because he ain't gonna fucking care. He will shoot a kid in the fucking face. And I'm like, that's the kind of danger you need to see. That's the dream. Right there. I'll tell you right now, if TPS ever blew up and I became filthy fucking rich and in demand, and they're like, Daniel, we want you to direct, a more mainstream movie. I'm like, listen, I'll do something. I'll do an existing IP, but it's gonna be Three Ninjas. You guys ain't doing shit with it. We ain't gonna market it to kids. But I just want to make it, because one day kids will watch it. It's like the first RoboCop. First RoboCop movie is brutal as shit, and kids watch that shit and ate it up. So it's like kids will get to it. Kids are attracted to cool, so they'll figure a way to watch it. But I wouldn't market to kids. I would make it for adults. It'd be a movie I want to watch, but about three kids and their grandfather who trained them in the ways of being a ninja. And guess what? Terrorists are trying to, kill them, and they have to fight. And guess what? No wackiness, there ain't gonna be no goofiness, no jelly beans saving the day. Like, no, it's gonna be literally these three kids are gonna have to murder or be killed to survive. And that's what Becky looks like. It looks like it's gonna be just a balls to the wall, awesome movie. So, first Kevin James movie in the history of Kevin James movies that I'm actually excited to see. So, there you guys have it. That's the horror news for this week. So let's now move on to the main event. Wanda, the Wicked Warden. 1977. This is it's kind of an international affair. Everybody who made this movie was from like different parts of the world. I think there's people from like Canada, Germany, or I guess at this point West Germany, and I want to say like Switzerland. But I think it was all filmed in primarily a German, thing. From sleazy director, the guy from the Portuguese Nun movie, Jess Franco, or Jesus Franco. I always call him Jess Franco, because it seems like every time I've seen a movie with him, or from him, it always said Jess Franco, but, it is what it is. He has multiple other names too, so I mean, but Jess Franco. And, anyways, so Wanda the Wicked Warden actually goes by several different names. Greta the Mad Butcher, I think is one of the titles. Greta the Sadistic. Ilsa the Wicked Warden. Few other ones. But it's like they changed the name 3 different times. Wanda, Gretchen, and Ilsa. Okay, so for you Nazi exploitation fans out there and are familiar with the Ilsa trilogy, Ilsa the She-Wolf of the SS, or the SS She-Wolf, I don't remember. I get the Rob Zombie spoof and the real movie kind of mixed up. I've never actually seen them. I've seen my handful of Nazi exploitation films, but I've never seen the actual the main event ones, if you will. Anyways, so the story behind it is this: is the main girl who plays in this movie, who the link I watched it said Wanda the Wicked Warden, which is why I'm referring to it in this video as Wanda the Wicked Warden. And that apparently is like one of the international titles, and when they released it on DVD, that was the title they used. However, I guess it was originally Gretchen the whatever. So in the movie, her name is actually Gretchen, but I'm getting to the Ilsa part in a second. So initially, the woman, and I'm blanking on the name, something Thorne. I'm sorry, I don't remember her first name, but the girl who played Ilsa in the Ilsa trilogy. Which, anybody who's unfamiliar with that, basically it was this sadistic woman who's running these concentration camps and using the poor female inmates for sexual experiments. And it was just basically an excuse to see young nubile women being subjected to some kind of sadistic torture. I mean, you hear the phrase torture porn today in reference to movies like Saw and Hostel, which does make sense. I guess it's kind of gratuitous torture, and that's what they're, that's the porn part of it, It's not actual nudity. But to me, this seems more like torture porn when it really is just seeing young naked women forced to engage in sexual acts with other women, or just being flat out raped, or just sexually experimented on. Once again, the nudity, you become desensitized to nudity right off the bat. It really is just insane. But in those movies, it's just about this sadistic woman who's running these camps and how she finds her comeuppance. But it was such a popular movie that it spawned sequels. I think she gets killed in the first one, but somehow they found a way to bring her back. And then the next two movies, and it's almost like she becomes almost like an anti-hero, I think, by the end. I could be completely wrong. I could be completely talking out my ass now. But I want to say that's the vibe I kind of always get whenever I hear people talk about these movies. I've never seen it myself. I need to get into it, because like I said, now that I'm back to reviewing movies and not just doing the mainstream stuff, I've been taking some dark alleyways here, and I'm coming across a lot of stuff that I normally wouldn't watch, so I'll eventually get to some of these other movies. Anyways, so that movie was really popular. Now, they did another movie based in the same vein, because that's kind of what they did back then these days. If they found something that worked, they just kept doing the same thing over and over and just switching up locations or actors or character names, but it was basically the same movie. So they do this one with, and once again, they're all like German sound. I don't know where it's supposed to take place at. They don't really ever say. But anyways, I'm going to guess Germany, because Gretchen's kind of a German name, isn't it? Anyways, so she played a different character. In fact, Ilsa's hair was blonde, and they intentionally made her hair red in this movie because she was like, I want to differentiate the characters. So she's Gretchen, the sadistic warden, and they do a women in prison film. However, when the movie's released, like a lot of cases back in the day when international movies would come to America, we didn't really have that big thing. Once again, we would constantly, or the distributors would take the movies, they'd change the title up, they would make cuts to it. I mean, they'd kind of mangle them and then show, whatever on the grindhouse circuit, if you will. And so this was a case of that, and they brought it over, and they changed it to Ilsa. Maybe this was Ilsa the Wicked Warden or something like that, or the Sadistic Warden. But they changed the name and made it basically an unconnected sequel to the other one, to the Ilsa movies. And even on IMDb, they have it listed as a part 2. Even though it has no connection to the other trilogy, and her name's not even Ilsa, it's Gretchen. But I guess, once again, you slap the title on it, no one cares, and really there's not much plot to be had in this movie. It is just, like the Nun movie, it's just an excuse to rape women on camera and just show lots and lots and lots of titties. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, once again, no one's really hurt into making this. It's art. And using quotations for those who aren't, watching me, because I hear this show is great just to listen to. So I'll, make sure when I use quotations, I will say I'm doing quotation. Anyways, so just I'm not saying it's a bad thing. There is a market for sleazy fucking movies like this. It just, I don't see them being not much of a market today, except for just a curiosity from our past. So the story here is this woman ends up kind of admitting herself into this. It's not really a prison as much as it is a hospital, which they treat like a prison. But she admits or has herself admitted into this hospital because her sister went missing, and she's wanting to figure out what happened to my sister. This is literally the plot of every single Skinamax women in prison movie I watched when I was a kid. Like, when I was a kid, I didn't have cable. I had an antenna, but on the weekends, I stayed with my grandmother. And she'd go to bed around 8 o'clock on a Friday and Saturday night. So this kid would go ahead and sneak downstairs, and about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, that's when the dirty stuff came on. You turn it on, and you wouldn't believe how many movies I've seen where a woman goes to prison and disappears, and then her big-breasted sister, who, she can't really fight, but she's somehow like some kind of FBI specialist, or she's like trained in like hand-to-hand combat, and she's wearing like shirts up to here. I'm like, that's not a regulation outfit, but whatever. And she goes into prison and gets herself tied up with the the lesbian gangs and the sadistic, prison guards there. And just an hour, 90 minutes of her just fucking everybody in that prison. And then at the end you find out, like, my God, they're actually doing drug smuggles in there. And thank God the sister showed up and she was able to save the other, It's ridiculous. But when you're, 12 years old just watching boobies, you don't care. You don't care at all. Like, I feel like that's what this movie is. Like, literally, on a more sadistic level. Like, those were always kind of, like, soft. Like, even, like, the women in prison movies on Cinemax, they were very soft. Like, you never felt like there was high stakes. Like, I was a kid, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, they'll be fine. Like, they're just having a good time in there right now, and she'll eventually get out at the end. But these movies are much darker. And from what I understand, I kind of went back and looked at like reviews, and people will say like this actually gets a little darker than the Ilsa series, which the Ilsa series has been heralded as like the most brutal, sadistic in the Nazi exploitation or women behind bars subgenre. So I mean, they're saying this one even kind of pushes the boundaries further than that. So anyways, Jess Franco, in addition to co-writing and directing this movie, he also stars as this guy who's a psychiatrist or a doctor or something. Anyways, in the very beginning of the movie, we open up in the shower scene. Like, it reminded me of Carrie, but just less classy. There's a bunch of girls standing around, full frontal, everything. And anyways, a fight breaks out or something or other happens. And the guards are paying attention to that. And this girl takes off running. And when she escapes, the guards chase her. Now, early on they showed 2 male guards, but then like one male guard just disappears the rest of the production. Like, I don't know what the hell happened to that guy. But the other guy winds up being Gretchen or Wanda's like right-hand man or whatever. So the girl gets gunned down, but she survives and she gets away. And she ends up going to town. And she meets up with the doctor. So the doctor's like, are you okay? Mom, And so he's trying to make sure, everything's great. But he contacts this local hospital because he's like, I think she may have escaped. And it turns out it's Gretchen's hospital. And you find out this hospital is made for, and I'm not sure, once again, there's vehicles and guns. So, I'm guessing it's set between the 50s and the 70s. The movie came out in 77. I don't know. It looks like it's modern. So, but anyways, it's another country, so I guess that's kind of how they got away with this, but it's like, it's for women who are having trouble with their sexuality, i.e. they're either nymphomaniacs or they are lesbians. Like, that was considered, I guess, a mental illness back then. So they go ahead and round all these women together, but instead of them being put in and treated like no one ever gets out, it turns into like this. It's not even like there's not even like a workforce or anything. Like, they're just subjected to rape and everything. Well, there is a shady side business going on. I'll get that in a second. But other than that, it's just like, yeah, no one ever gets out. So it's just like these women are stuck there. And then there's all these messed up rules. Like, they strip you of your identity completely. You do not say your name, because if you say your name, because you got a number on your shirt, and let's say you're number 10, then they will take your shirt off. They do that quite a bit anyways in this movie. And then they will brand you, sear into your skin, your number, so you won't forget. And so anyways, they take the girl back, and then they end up torturing the shit out of her. Lobotomy, there's a lot of patients in this hospital that aren't even coherent or can function, and literally the nurses are just pushing them around on wheelchairs, and they just kind of babble to themselves. Like, they're out of it. So, within this prison, I use number 10 as an example. She never got her tit branded. Actually, number 10 is kind of like the lead bad girl. She runs this whole thing. She's the biker gang. But she is also like underneath Greta. Like, even though Greta tortures her just the same as everybody else, there's some kind of like weird sexual relationship between the two. Like, even though Greta definitely uses and abuses her body, it's almost like number 10 really kind of likes her. Like, she's kind of in love with Greta, even though, she kind of developing Stockholm Syndrome or whatever. So, whenever the doctor comes back and tries to look into this patient, they tell him that this patient just died. And the body was cremated there at the hospital, and so he's like, this is weird. And he's starting to think, like, you know what? No one ever comes out of the hospital. So he's concerned. So he's actually going to the local authorities, And of course, they're just like, well, there's, that you worry about it. We do random inspections from time to time, and they've never showed anything too shady, so we don't really investigate. And so, anyways, upon hearing this, the girl's sister, who was the one that escaped and was returned, she ends up going up to him, and she's like, I'll do it. I'll go in, and you can just diagnose me. And I forget what they get her as she was a pedophile. She was a teacher. Like, why did it went like those extreme, I'm like, I don't care if it's a women privilege or not, like, they're not going to go easy on you there either for that crime, but whatever. But her backstory would be she was a teacher who molested her students, and that's why she's get put in there. But their backup's going to be that she's going to deny it the whole time. Like, she's like, I didn't do it. And then after a month, he's going to come back and be like, oh no, I filed the paperwork wrong, here you go, you have to release her. And then, of course, she can get out and tell him the whole story. And so when she gets in there right off the bat, the gangs are fucking with her. The warden's messing with her. At one point, they, spray acid on her vagina, which I don't fucking know what that was for. She does befriend a transgender woman in there, the male to female type. And you find out why she's in there was not necessarily for that, even though I guess that would be frowned upon with this government or whatever as well, that actually she was initially a man and she was gay. So she felt like, well, I'm a woman trapped in a man's body and I want to be with a man. So he became a woman, and now she was with this guy. But then she realizes that the guy she was with, he was a gay male. And I know I'm not going to get into the whole political thing here or, whatever, but he only wanted to be with a man, so the fact that she was now a woman just didn't do anything for him. But now she's pissed because, I just changed my entire life for you. And so she cuts his dick and balls off. And I don't know if she killed him or if that was just kind of left ambiguous. But either way, she fucks his world up. And then she gets taken away to jail. And then while she's in prison or in this hospital, she has now become a lesbian. Once again, using the pronouns as well as I can without getting myself in trouble here. I dropped retard earlier, and I don't want to get in trouble for this. So, anyways, so that's her story. But she kind of befriends the main girl, and I forget her name, so we're going to call her number 41, because she had, two names. Her real name is Abby, I think, and then I forget what her fake name was that she used when she goes in there, but it doesn't matter. She's number 41, main character. So, anyways, during this, number 10, the main gang leader in there, she has a sexual attraction also to her. And just throughout the time, it's just nothing but torture and rape and all kinds of stuff. The male guard, he's also taping these rapes and tortures. And he takes them to this local guy who runs a bar. And on the side, this dude is distributing rape porn, because I guess there's a market for that. And giving the dude orders listen, I need a variety. I need more girl. Or I need more of this. And so, that's the whole side scam there. It never does explain if that's the whole reason behind the prison, because it seems like Greta's just running the hospital because she's just the head of the hospital. But, this dude's, doing side shit on the side. Greta's never really, she's there for the filming, but it's she's never in the meetings, and they never bring up the business of, hey, we're making killer money on the side, making our own porn. So it just seems kind of odd, I don't know. Anyways, it is what it is. So regardless, in the end, spoiler alert, in case you actually want to see this movie, I guess go ahead and stop watching now. Know that I like this movie. I'll give my reasons after I spoil it. At the end, basically what happens is they find out that it's her sister, and right off the bat, they know that there's some sort of political uprising. There's a woman, the only black woman in this hospital. They got her down one of the sub-basements, and she's really got tortured mentally. Her face is all scarred up. She's been beat, but she's the only one who's still defiant. She still fights. They have not broken this girl's spirit. Whereas the sister is now comatose, and they start torturing her more. And they're like, we need a name. Well, she drops the name of the leader of this rebellion. You find out it's the doctor, played by Jess Franco, on the outside, who's trying to get the people out. Once again, they never give you much beyond that, story-wise, so I don't know if there's a whole other side plot about what political uprising it is. Once again, it's a foreign movie, so I don't know much about my foreign history, so there may be some sort of, subtext there I'm just not getting. But either way, she finds that out, and she finds out he's the only link. He's the only one that knows that number 41's there. So she sends her goons, and they kill him. And, they're working with, the local police and everything there, and they end up killing this dude, wiping him out. So now we got a face-off situation when the Sean Archer, played by both John Travolta first and then Nicolas Cage, in Face Off, when he gets trapped out at that Alcatraz-type prison, and the only people who knew that he was there gets murdered, and you're like, holy shit, he's trapped. We get that situation, and it's like, oh my god, number 41 and her sister, they're trapped with all the other prisoners, and no one even knows she's in there. So they start amping up the torture, and they end up torturing the rest of them, too. There's this is going to prove, hey, we're still in charge here. And they had this massive, brutal, they get all these inmates from a local prison, a male prison. And they just turn them loose, and it's just an insane, and not just rape. It's brutal beatings. And at one point, one guy, literally just claws this girl's face. You see it. You see him clawing her face, and there's just blood all over, and then a rape on top of it. And this goes on forever. Much like the Portuguese Nun movie. Anybody out there who's ever watched just an actual softcore film? I mean, once again, I can't imagine two people have, especially in an era of either A, hardcore, or B, just people who just don't really get into watching pornography. Softcore movies are always kind of a chore to get through. And when you're younger and you're not used to anything, it's great because oh yeah, a 10-minute sex scene, great. You grow up and realize there's something called hardcore, and or you watch pornography at that point just to rub one out. You can't watch softcore because you can't rub one out to that because once again, there's no penetration. It's not that dirty. It's just 10 minutes of people rubbing each other. And then if you're watching it for the storyline, which it's goddamn, that's a 10-minute chunk of just two girls rubbing titties, which is great for 30 seconds. You can literally cut away from that. I would love to go back and re-edit some of these great softcore action movies because there's a lot of fun plots and they're always usually so bad they're good. But it is goddamn, another sex scene, and it's just can we not cut this down for a second? Who's this for? I guess it's for the 12-year-old Daniel who's sneaking down from his room at his grandmother's house to watch this stuff on Friday and Saturday nights back in the late 80s, early 90s. So anyways, you get, a lot of those scenes. So these brutal attack scenes and torture scenes, it's just that, but it's just it's so gratuitous and over the top and glorifying it almost. So literally it's all you're seeing is just a girl writhing in pain for 2 or 3 minutes at a time. It's just I don't really want to see this. Sorry, not my bag, not my cup of tea. So anyways, it intensifies it. So finally, number 10, the leader of the gang, she's mad because I guess she was promised by Greta that she would go easy on number 41 because she has a crush on her. And Greta's just I run this prison, you know that, blah, 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 blah. I'm in control. I don't take orders from you. And at the end, they do a random inspection, and it turned out that right before they killed Jess Franco's character, the doctor, he did in fact send a letter out to the police. And so when the police show up, the non-crooked police officials, I guess, they're yeah, we're looking for this one girl, and of course she, was here by mistake. And so what happens is they go ahead and release her, but unfortunately, it's one flew over the cuckoo's nest. She's had one too many lobotomies or shock treatments or whatever, and I mean she's fried. She's dead. I mean she's done. That's it. She's brain dead at this point. And so they inspect the whole place, and everything's on the up and up. So they're just well, it is what it is. And they make up some excuse how her mental illness was so bad that she's suffering these seizures, and that's why she's acting like this. So they don't question it. They're all right, fine, carry on, and they take her away. But when number 10 sees that number 41 has been fucked up, there's an uprising of these women guards, and they don't show it, but I guess it's implied they killed the rest of the guards, and then they trap Greta, and then it turns into a massive lesbian gang rape, and it just turns into cannibalism, out of nowhere. It's they weren't even being starved or anything. They were eating regular meals, but it's fuck it. They just turn cannibals, I guess. And that's how the movie ends, is with Gretchen being just ripped apart and eaten on this bed. But then the camera pans over, and you see the painting that's on the wall, and they'd always move, and there'd be a camera there, and that's what they're filming with. The drawing moves, or the the painting moves, and then the films or the camera's up, and you see the one male guard smiling as he's recording it. It's like, God damn, this dude's still doing the side business. Like, he's just like, I don't know how you're gonna get out of this thing alive. He must know the back entrance, I guess, or a secret way out. But he's not even worried about his own, well-being. The prisoners have now taken over the asylum, or the inmates have taken over the asylum, and he's like, nope, I'm gonna get this because this is what my clients want. And that's how the movie ends, is with Gretchen, I don't know which one it is, I think it's Gretchen, being raped / eaten alive on both sides of that. And, yeah, dude just filming, smiling, and then credits. And it's just like, God damn, it's a bleak ending. Like, your main characters are all dead. Your protagonists are dead. The only one that kind of turns into protagonist is the main girl. That's like a villain, or secondary villain for most of the movie. And then in the end, they all eat her, and that's it. So that was Wanda the Wicked Warden. I'll be honest with you, I did like it, because even though there was a lot of grotesque torture scenes, or just over the top, rape scenes, or just a bunch of softcore scenes, gratuitous too, but there was actually a solid story here, even though it's a story I made fun of earlier, and yes, it's, cliched. I found myself more interested in this, like, whereas with the Nun movie, a lot of scenes I was just bored with, or, I don't know, I felt like in that movie it was more, it felt sleazier than this one. And I guess because, the violence kind of upped it for me. Like, in the last movie, there wasn't really a whole lot of violence. Here, quite a bit of violence. So, I'm not gonna lie, I do like my torture movies. So, but yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. You'll have to kind of search on this one. I ain't gonna lie, I actually had to wait. I had to look around, because I didn't. All the Gretchen movies I could find online that were under the title Gretchen were all the German originals with no subtitles. So the only thing I could find that said Wanda the Wicked Warden that had no subtitles but a dubbed version is on the porno site X Hamster or Hamster Heck. Yeah, Hamster X Hamster. It's whichever one the porn site is. Like, I had to go to a porn site to watch this fucking movie because you couldn't find it anywhere else online. So let's face it, it's a porn site. They're not going to get in trouble for bootleg and shit, because no one gives a shit, because it's pornography. So, and again, this is not hardcore pornography at all. This is literally, it's a softcore at best. At worst, it is an actual movie. But, anyways, yeah, I had to go to a pornography site to check it out. I'm sure you can probably find the DVD. I wasn't going to pay, $20 to $30 for a DVD to do one review of, so I just I'll find it online. And I did. So, anyways, yeah, Wanda the Wicked Warden. There you go. Even though it's not a prison, it does kind of feel like it belongs in that prison in chains, or prison, or women behind bars, or whatever subgenre. So there it is, guys. Let me know what you thought about the movie if you've seen it. If you haven't, let me know what you think about the subgenre. If it's something you'd be interested in. If not, once again, my Portuguese Nun review video is like one of the top videos that I've done. Like, literally, I'll do the mainstream shit that people would normally like, and that gets, a handful of views, and I do that Portuguese Nun, and it's like, holy shit, like, that blew up, and I was like, god damn, wasn't expecting that. So, not gonna lie, people were clearly looking at the bizarre and the kind of depraved, and that's, hey, I'm here for the people, so that's what we're doing. So that's all I got, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Next week, no episode. There won't be an episode of the horror movie review. Won't be a TPS TV, and won't be a Journey Through the Dark Side. It's gonna be Memorial Day, so you know what? We're gonna Memorial Day it up over here. So we're gonna take the weekend off. So guys, have yourself a safe Memorial Day. Social distancing. Keep your hands washed. You guys know all that shit by now. Hopefully. I don't know. I think our state's starting to sort of reopen up, but we're not officially reopened yet. But there's still people out and about, so I don't know. I'd rather keep my ass inside and just order a pizza or something like that. That seems to be the plan right there. So that's all I got, guys. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Oh, shit. Didn't know which one. Sorry. Hi. Thank you for watching that video. Be sure to give us a thumbs up. Share it, subscribe to our channel, all that good stuff you do right here on YouTube. Go ahead and do it. Check out our other videos. Go to our playlist. We got episodes of TPS TV, Journey Through the Dark Side. We got a new show coming out, the horror movie review with Daniel Richardson. This guy. And of course, our short film, Entropy. You can find all that and more right here on YouTube. And then check out
Yeah, look at that. All of our social media right there. And we don't just, copy and paste like the same post and put it on all. No, that's ridiculous. 3 different platforms, 3 different posts. I mean, the behind the scenes stuff you see on Twitter will not be the same stuff you see on Instagram. So there you go, right there. So be sure to give us a follow and a like on all that right there. Keep up to date. Have you seen Unspeakable Acts yet? No? Come on. Pick you up the DVD right now. Links over there. Oh, yeah. It's only $7. $3 shipping and handling. And of course, if you've already seen it and you haven't seen the public domain dungeon yet, boom, $5 DVD right there. So 5 S&P as well. Or sorry, 3 S&P as well. So there you go. Do that. And if you got the spare change, you want to hit us up, donate a little bit over at TPS Productions. Our Patreon is right there. Oh, yeah. So that's all we. Oh, my God. Sorry. I'm getting fired, ain't I? Yeah, that's all we got. Thank you for watching.